When covering characters for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 in these beginner's guides, one thing I always try to do is be as unbiased and give as fair an actual review for a character as possible. Now, today we will be reviewing one of my all-time favourite characters, probably my favourite character to be honest, the awesome Hawkeye. So in this video there is a chance that I may be biased, and if that does happen,
I'm not even sorry.
So we'll start off the video then looking at his overview and also his stats. We'll check out his abilities, we'll have a look at his top 10 team bonuses. Next up it's the Synergy Attack Guide, and then we'll look at the build options available for him and the best ISO 8. He's quite tricky to actually build for given his tags. Following on from that, we'll check out his alternative costume, and then finishing up we'll do a quick summary of why Hawkeye is so awesome. So let's jump in, start off with the overview first. Hawkeye then is your range support character, and if you're looking to play it safe then he's certainly the character to play. When I was going through the campaign for the first time, and it is actually tricky the first time you go through it, Hawkeye really did come in clutch so many times for me, just allowing me to keep it ranged and allow the other characters to do all the tanking while he just slowly whittled down the bosses. Now when we look at the tags on his abilities, they're really not great at all. Bizarrely, even though all of them involve firing arrows, only 2 of them have the projectile tag. I just don't understand that at all. 2 of them have the melee tag, so it does make it a little bit difficult in regards to itemization, and we can't push out damage as high as we can on some other characters, unfortunately. There's no hero trait there. Again, that's a little bit disappointing, because I reckon the fact that he uses a weapon, he should have that elemental trait like many other characters do, and I was really hoping he would so I could do a trick arrow build, but unfortunately not the case. Looking at his stats, they're a little bit average here. So his strength is D, his vitality is F, mastery is D, resilience and durability are D, and then energy is B there. So stat wise and looking at his ability tags, he doesn't come off too well, but when we actually get into the abilities, that's when, for me at least personally, I have a whole lot of fun with him. First ability we have here is Piercing Shot. This one can actually do really pretty nice damage. The damage rating is up at a B, staggers down at D, so you wouldn't use this to stagger an enemy, you'd use it once they're actually stunned or staggered, and as the name would suggest on it, it pierces through a long line of characters, so if you've got a big group of them, it can actually do a substantial amount. You can see it at the moment, we were able to take out a fair amount of their minions just firing it off. Now you have the choice of actually charging it, or else you can just tap it. If you charge it, you're looking at around about 25% additional damage. The next ability we have here is one that if you looked at the tooltip and seen the damage up at A, you would think this would really hit pretty hard, but unfortunately it doesn't. The damage is only about 20% of the amount of damage you get via Piercing Shot and also shock value, so it really doesn't make sense the tooltip saying A. Now this particular one, when you fire it off and it actually explodes, it doesn't say it in the tooltip, but it actually adds burn to the enemies as well, so it does bring up the utility on it a little bit, but it's still a pretty underwhelming skill, and it's one that I don't really use often at all. The next ability we have here is Exploding Arrow. Now I actually really like this one for the reason that you can actually choose where to aim it, so it does make me feel like an archer. Yes, it slows him down a little bit aiming it, but I do like being able to be precise with it. You can also tap it as well. If the enemy's just in front of you by a few spaces, then you can just quickly tap it and it will just fire there. Now the damage rating is down at F, but due to the multiple hits and the fact that it adds a burn, it can actually do decent damage. Do try and use it against an enemy that's been staggered or stunned, because all those hits will be guaranteed crits, and it is a ton of hits it's doing. Finally with this, it adds the fire element to ally attacks as well, and that's really nice that it's able to do that. Final ability we have here is Shock Value, and this one is really pretty awesome. So the damage rating is up at a B, without any of the actual ISOs to enhance my damage. In this gameplay footage I'm doing 25,000 damage, and with a crit I'm getting round about 60,000 damage. You can spam this, it will shock the target, and once they're shocked, Any hits when they've got that status effect on them will be guaranteed crits, so you can fire this off and then you follow up with the exploding arrow, and all the different explosions and the burn will all work as a crit as well. Now on top of this, it adds the shock element to ally attacks, so absolutely awesome skill, and this is the one that I do use the most on Hawkeye, whether or not I'm going up against minions, elites, or even going up against bosses. It's just an awesome skill. Now what we'll check out next will be the top 10 team bonuses. When it comes to team bonuses, we have our usual suspects at the top here, so it's Elektra, Psylocke and Wolverine. They'll offer up to 20%. Bottom of the list here, we've still got a decent 18% in bonuses you can get, and that's Elektra, Iron Fist and Wolverine. The key seems to be using Elektra and Wolverine. They can really boost your team bonuses high. Now if we look at what we get for the top spot, it would be 12% strength, so that benefits 2 of his skills because his skills benefit from strength and mastery, and we'll talk about that once we get to itemization in a moment. He also gets 3% mastery, that will benefit his skills that have the energy tag, and then 6% vitality and 1% energy as well. So that's a team you want to run if you want to really push the percent bonuses you can get from certain team combinations, but I'll always mention the fact I don't feel forced to run this particular team. Run the team you want at the end of the day. Now next section will be the synergies. When it comes to synergy attacks, Hawkeye does really well. I think he's actually in the top 10 in the game in regards to the number of synergy attacks he's able to do with other characters. So he's got 4 options available that can proc them. You've got Bash, Explosive, Burn and also Shock. If we look at the top 5 characters that it synergizes with, you've got Hulk, Luke Cage, Drax, Miss Marvel and Wolverine. And the bottom 5, so these are characters you genuinely want to avoid pairing them up with because you really struggle to get synergy attacks. It's Black Panther, Loki, Spider-Man, Thanos and then Scarlet Witch as well there. So lots of options in regards to the synergy attacks and all the big explosions you can get going off. So next section we'll look at will be the build option available on them. Hawkeye then is a character that when the game first came out and I found out about the Elemental ISOs, I really did have some grand plans in regards to the build I would run on him. I was imagining firing off all these different trick arrows with different effects, but sadly he doesn't have that elemental trait. When we look at the tags on his abilities, it limits him as well because 2 of them have energy, 2 of them have projectile. Quite why all of them don't have projectile when they're all arrows, I really don't know at all, and it's pretty disappointing, and it does really limit his build options. So the only real build I can see you would want to run on him would be ranged support. So you just stay at a distance, pick off enemies, slowly whittle them down, and when you have your own allies that run in front of you, then you fire off your electric arrow and your fire one so you can actually add the elements to them. Now if you look at the ISO options available, they are ones that just buff all damage, and that's due to his tag. So firstly you've got increased crit hit chance by 8%, and then you've got increased damage done to enemies by 16.5%. So definitely on the lower side the damage you can get here, but it is universal damage type, so it will apply to all of his abilities. Now next up, let's have a look at the alternative costume. Hawkeye's alternative costume then, as with the other ones in the game at the moment, is just a simple recolour, and it's actually hard to make it out because it's quite similar to his base costume, but this particular one it's unlocked via the Infinity nodes, and you need to get 17 stars in the Sigma Rift, so it's really not hard to unlock at all. Now with that covered, let's just finish up with a quick summary. Hawkeye then is a character that it's not as flashy as some of the other characters in the game. You can't jump in and instantly melt a boss's stagger bar or anything like that, but he's a character that feels quite tactical to play, and I actually really like that aspect of him, and I think it is quite unique. Now a large part of that comes down to his light attack. The range on it is incredible, and I think it's probably the longest attack range on any light attack in the game, so you can really stay at distance when it comes to dangerous enemies, and because you're at distance it gives you a lot more time to actually see the tells on their moves and gives you time to react. So when I'm playing as Hawkeye, I actually feel really skillful when I'm playing as him because I can dodge all the attacks and it gives me more time to choose when I'm going to fire off my own ones. You've got the elements that you can add as well. You've got the shock element, which is awesome. It is the best element in the game, and then you follow up with his fire attack on a shocked enemy and you can just get all those different crits. So as I did mention at the start of the video, I'm completely biased. I really do enjoy playing as him, so let me know in the comments below if you're not as biased a Hawkeye fan as me, how you actually get on when you've been playing with him, if you do find his playstyle enjoyable, and if you agree with my assessment that he's quite a tactical character to actually play as. And if you enjoyed the video, take your time to hit the like button, hit the share button, leave a comment below in regards to the character you would like to see next, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.